Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Favorite Bands A to Z. Of course, you know, this is the show we've been doing all throughout the month of July, starting off at A, going all the way to Z. Each letter of the alphabet, I'm going to name my favorite band or artist that starts with that letter. If it's an artist, last name, first letter of the last name. And then I'm going to pick a favorite album from that band, as well as I'm going to do a runner-up each and every day. So today we have arrived at the letter V. V is for a lot of cool bands. My number one was never really in question. This was pretty much a given. It was the runner-up that proved to be challenging. And until about maybe 5 minutes ago, right before I started taping this, I really quite wasn't sure. Right, because there's a couple of them that are right up there. The number one, of course, not much of a surprise, got to be Van Halen. And you know what? It's hard to not choose the first album as a favorite, or the favorite, I should say, when it comes to Van Halen. I mean, I really love Fair Warning a lot. I like Women and Children First a lot. But I don't know, man. There's something that it's really hard to beat the debut. Really is hard to beat the debut. It's like top to bottom. It's just really, really strong. Running with the Devil, Eruption, You Really Got Me. Ain't Talking About Love is just absolutely drop dead classic. I'm the One, Killer. Jamie's Crying, Atomic Punk. I mean, just, man, so good. Feel Your Love Tonight, probably my least favorite song on the album, but it's still fun. Little Dreamer is great. Ice Cream Man is so much fun. Shredding guitars all over that. And how about On Fire? I mean, this is like a legendary debut. One of the great hard rock, heavy rock albums of all time, right? Just groundbreaking every step of the way. Edward Van Halen just announces his arrival on planet Earth in a big way. Just the whole band, they just look like absolute rock stars there, right? How many debut albums have just present that? Here we are, right? Just absolutely stunning stuff, right? So yeah, that had to be, Van Halen had to be my number one, and that album had to be my choice. Now the runner-up, here's where it gets interesting. So there are a bunch of contenders here, quite a few of them actually, that I was like, we've got Vandenberg. We've got Steve Vai. We've got the Vanilla Fudge. We've got Venom. And we got Voivod. Almost went with Voivod here. Almost went with Voivod. Could have gone with any of those. But when it came down to it, I was like Voivod and Van de Graaff Generator. That's who I ultimately chose. Voivod is a close third. I went with Van de Graaff because as much as I dig Voivod quite a bit, I probably listen to Van de Graaff just a little bit more. And they're to me, they're both kind of similar because both bands are like an acquired taste for some. And they're both fairly unique bands that do something different in the genre that they kind of sit in. Voivod, obviously a metal band, kind of a thrash band, kind of a progressive metal band. Nearly no one sounds like them. And Van de Graaff, a prog band, right? A classic prog band from the 70s, but man, so unique sounding. Nobody sounds like them. And I decided to go with Pawn Hearts as my favorite album. Could have been Still Life. Could have been God Bluff. Could have been a few albums, but I tend to generally favor Pawn Hearts just a little bit. There's something really epic about this album. I got Lemmings and Man Erg, A Plague of Lighthouse Keepers. I mean, the big epic track that, whenever we seem to do these epic song shows, for whatever reason, Plague of Lighthouse Keepers never seems to get mentioned, but it's definitely one of the great long prog epics of all time, right? Peter Hamill and company. You got Robert Fripp guesting on guitar on this album. This is just a gem of an album. Nice Paul Whitehead album cover there. So, hard not to pick Van de Graaff. But, man, it was close. I really wanted to go with Voivod. Vandenberg, great band. Love they don't have a lot of albums. They only got 4 of them. Love Adrian as a guitar player. Venom, one of the reasons why I didn't go Venom is because while they have a couple of real legendary albums, there's also some stuff in the catalog that's, kind of not as great, obviously. I think same thing with Steve Vai, one of my favorite guitar players, right? I've always loved his guitar style. But, some of his albums are kind of spotty. He's got a couple really classic albums, and there's others that are just kind of like, okay. Vanilla Fudge have a couple of great albums. And then some of the rest of the catalog it's okay, right? So, ultimately, I like most of Van de Graaff's albums like really, really well. The same thing with Voivod. So it was tough choosing between the two of them, but that's what I'm going to go with today. So we got Van Halen, Van de Graaff Generator. V is for Van Halen, V is for Van de Graaff. In the comments below, list your favorite artist or band that begins with V, your favorite album, and your runner-up, your favorite album. We're going to keep playing this until we get all the way to Z. We don't have much to go, guys. We got W, X, Y, and Z. That's it. Just a few more days, and then we're going to move on to something else. I might as well announce what I'm going to do in the month of August. So August, each and every day, is going to be Forgotten Favorites Day. We haven't done Forgotten Favorites here on the channel in quite a while. So for those of you who might be new to Sea of Tranquility and have no idea what I'm talking about, Forgotten Favorites, back when the channel first started, almost 7 years ago, it'll be 7 years in September. We mostly just did product reviews. That's what Sea of Tranquility was. The YouTube channel was just a complement to our reviews webzine. And basically, I would just come on once a week, and I would review a couple of new CDs by, whatever, new releases, old or new bands, whatever. And then at the end of each episode, I would give a Forgotten Favorites pick. And I would go through the vaults, and I would pick out a rare or obscure album from a rare or obscure band, or maybe an album from a fairly known band that never gets talked about, that sort of thing. Just an album that I really like that nobody ever seems to talk about or nobody knows about. That's kind of what we used to do at the end of every episode of every new product show. And that's what we did the first year or two on Sea of Tranquility. Well, we've done subsequent episodes over the years where I've done like Forgotten Favorites, and I've pulled out all sorts of really rare things that I have, and I would talk about some of these bands and albums and so on and so forth. But we do them very sporadically, maybe once or twice a year. We don't really do that too much. So what I'm going to do throughout the month of August, and each and every day, I'm going to go through my stacks and stacks and thousands of CDs, and I'm going to pull out some cool rarities and obscurities and, maybe, like I said, album releases from fairly known bands that nobody ever seems to talk about that I really like. So it's basically the stuff that I really like that deserves to be mentioned. So, you'll be hearing each and every day about some cool album releases from some known or unknown bands that you're probably going to want to check out. So there'll be brief shows. Basically, we'll just show off the CD. I'll talk a little bit about the band and music, and then it's up to you to go and investigate them. So that's what that's all about. So Forgotten Favorites each and every day throughout the month of August. So stay tuned for that. That should be a lot of fun. It's always cool for me, too, because I get to go out and revisit stuff that maybe I haven't listened to in a while, or say, oh, yeah, I forgot about that cool album, right? That sort of thing. So stay tuned for that. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up tonight, we've got In the Prog Seat with, I guess you can call it Team B, although we've got Rand Kelly and Rick Labonte, joined by Neve the Prog Nerd, as well as Chuck Alvarez from Team A. So we've got kind of like a little mix and match type of thing tonight. So we're going to talk about the first 5 progressive rock albums that we ever acquired. Whether we bought them, they were given to us. The first 5 prog albums that made it into our collections back in the day, or whenever it is we first started listening to progressive music. So that's coming up tonight. We've got tomorrow, What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility Day. You're sure to get a couple of, at least a couple. It might be a little light this weekend, maybe 1 or 2 new product review days, including my review of Martin Popoff's brand new Uriah Heep book. That's going to be the focus tomorrow. Thursday, The Monsters Den. Chris Allo and I will be ranking our 5 favorite films from acclaimed horror director Stuart Gordon. So stay tuned for that. And then Friday morning at the Funhouse, Martin Popoff and I will be ranking the catalog of King's X. You do not want to miss that. And then hopefully a couple other fun things happening over the weekend. So stay tuned for that. And a lot more as we welcome in August. Although I wish we can go kind of back to May already because the summer's just flying by. But no can do, right? Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you tonight on In the Prog Seat. Do not miss it. And tomorrow morning, once again, as we finish out the month of July for Favorite Bands A to Z. Thanks for watching. See you real soon. Bye-bye.